Okay, so we will start chapter 19, Canto 5, a description of the island of Jambudvipa. Srila Sukdev Goswami said, "My dear king, in Kim Purusha Varsha, the great devotee Hanuman is always engaged with the inhabitants in that land in devotional service to Lord Ramchandra, the elder brother of Lakshman and the dear husband of Sita Devi. A host of Gandharvas is always engaged in chanting the glories of Lord Ramchandra. That chanting is always extremely auspicious. Hanumanji and Artisena, the chief person in Kim Purusha Varsha, constantly hear these glories with complete attention. Hanuman chants the following mantras. Now, Kim Purusha Varsha, Kim Purusha means half human beings, half. The rest of the body belongs to certain animals or certain other kind of creatures, and the half, it would be like you cannot call unicorn, because unicorn is different. Unicorn top portion is man and bottom portion is an animal. Here the top portion would be an animal and the bottom portion would be a human being. So except that the qualities, which is the head qualities. Head qualities means what? Those qualities which spring from the head. The body is human. Only the body is human. That means all the emotions and all are associated with the human characteristics. Human beings' emotions, and the head, the ruling, how the ruling happens in the material world, that will be based on the animal type. Okay. So depending again on how this entire thing works out. So Kim Purusha, you will find that Hanumanji also belongs to that particular domain along with this other entity that we are talking about. Let me please, now Hanumanji is doing his prayers. Let me please your lordship by chanting the Bij mantra Omkara. I wish to offer my respectful obeisance unto the personality of Godhead, which is the best among the most highly elevated personalities. Your lordship is the reservoir of all the good qualities of Aryans, people who are advanced. Your character and behavior are always consistent, and you always control your senses and mind. Acting just like an ordinary human being, you exhibit exemplary character to teach others how to behave. There is a touchstone that can be used to examine the quality of gold, but you are like a touchstone that can verify all good qualities. You are worshipped by Brahmanas, who are the foremost of all the devotees. You, the Supreme Person, are the King of Kings, and therefore I offer my respectful obeisance unto him. That is, unto you. He is doing prayers to his beloved Ramchandra, Sri Ramchandra. Okay? My Lord, whose pure form, that is Satchidananda Vigraha, is uncontaminated by the modes of material nature, can be perceived by pure consciousness alone. In the Vedanta, he is described as being one without a second. Because of his spiritual potency, he is untouched by the contamination of the material nature. And because he is not subjected to material visions, he is known as transcendental. He has no material activities, nor has he material form or nature. Only in pure consciousness, Krishna consciousness, can one perceive the transcendental form of the Lord. Let us be firmly fixed at the lotus feet of Lord Ramchandra, and let us offer our respectful obeisance unto those transcendental lotus feet. Now what has happened is, Sri Krishna has taken this particular form of what we call as Sri Ram, that is Ramchandra. Now what happens to it is, when the divine takes the form, when the divine takes a form, assumes a form, at that point in time, the form itself is not contaminated by material nature. In the sense, what happens would be, everything that the form performs, every action that the form is performing is a non-contaminated action. It is not at all tainted by Maya or the one in the material world. Though actions that are happening to that particular entity at that point in time, let me tell you, are very much required. We will say that how come he allowed Sita to be kidnapped? How come he allowed, himself to go to the jungle for 14 years? What is it that happened during that particular period? Why should he cry? Or why should he feel sad when Lakshmana was battered? Why should he be crying when Sita was kidnapped? And why was he feeling sad when Jatayu was killed? All these things are emotions. Now these emotions are meant very much for the performance of worldly activity. Let us say, for example, if Lakshmana was not hurt, he was not on his deathbed, then the action of performing the entire lifting up of the mountain, okay, when he was asked to get the Jadi Booty, that Sanjeevani Jadi Booty, okay, whom he asked? Hanumanji. And Hanumanji picks up the entire mountain and brings it in front of Sri Ram and says, here is the mountain, I don't know which one you are talking about, you can go and choose. And he takes the Jadi Booty, and that's how his brother is awakened once again. Now you may wonder, why is it that that action should have performed? If he is God, then he should not have let that action get performed, isn't it? Many a times we wonder, if there is this particular God, he has got so many qualities, why is he allowing all these actions to happen? Like say, for example, the kidnapping of his own wife. Why should it happen? It should not happen at all. Now these are some things which we should always take into consideration. Why are they happening? So the reason why they are happening is because the story has to progress. There is a progression. The progression is meant for the material beings. See, understand this. The progression, normally when we look at it, we look at the progression in the form of that which appears from the divine point of view. There is nothing like a divine point of view. It's the same thing when we see the divine in the form of Jesus Christ or say Gautam Buddha. Now you will say, Gautam Buddha, why should he go to the jungle? Why should he do this tapascharya and so on and so forth? Why should Jesus go on the cross? Now, if the God's Son and it is the Divine Lord, why should that happen? No, these are instances that need to happen. It is nothing but a sort of a progression for the future. Now, when Sri Ram did whatever that was to be done, or when Gautam Buddha did what was to be done, and when Jesus Christ did whatever that needed to be done at that point in time, the actions were non-contaminated. They were coming from the pure domain. That means that individual, he's taken up that body. Sri Ram, Krishna has taken the body of Sri Ram and he's roaming on the earth. The Father in heaven has taken the body of Jesus Christ. He has come on the earth. Same way, you will find that the Divine Lord Krishna has taken a particular form called the Gautam Buddha, and he has come on this planet Earth. At that point in time, the body is not contaminated. It's pure. It's absolutely pure in its form. It does not have what we call as tainting. See, tainting in the form of colors. Basically, we see white, yellow, red, green, blue, and all those. These are colors. Now, let us say colors means there are different colors. Now, say if I say the white, the red, and the black. There are three shades. Now, three shades are representing the three types of things which are like Sattva, Rajas, and Tamas. Correct? Sattva is white in color, Rajas is red in color, black is Tamas. Now, how do you reach black? Now, try to understand it from, let us say, from color point of view. If an individual is colored by red, how does red become white? Isn't it the toughest task for red to become white? Think about it from the other point of view. Tamas to Rajas to Sattva. How would black become white? How would black become red? These are the three colors describing these three gunas, isn't it? White, red, and black. Can black turn into white? It's literally like an impossible thing to understand. So I keep on painting on top of it, In our paint industry, there is a very funny thing which we call as masking. Masking means you have to eliminate the earlier color. Now, if you are painting your house, if the house color is black, now how can you get red on top of it? It's the most difficult thing in the world. You try your level best to get red on top of it. That red will have the blackish tinge. Then you put one more layer. Then you put one more layer. Then you put one more layer. Finally, you will get fed up of it. You will still not get the red color that you want because it's already contaminated. So the only thing that you need to do is sandpaper it. Sandpaper? You have to sandpaper the wall fully and make it blank. And then you have to put what is called See, what we say as primer, you know primer? Primer is the first coat that is put on the wall. You have to first put the primer, you have to put 3 coats of primer. Now if you are putting a lighter shade, you cannot have a shade darker than the shade which is going to come first. Think about it. If your primer is dark yellow in color, what's going to happen? You may think that the primer comes in only one, a flat color. That is basically off-white. No. It can have shades. The reason is because some of the companies will give a darker shade also. Sometimes masking is required, so darker shades are also given. So we need to have a primer which is having more, where we are able to cover the wall completely. Now let us say then we have to put the red color. Got it? So that means first, if it is tamasic, if an individual is tamasic in nature, to completely sandpaper that tamas is very, very important. Now think about how can you do this kind of a great act in our great world. Please understand about it. A tamas means what? A person who is used to robbing, a person who is used to all kinds of wrongful activities. Think about it. That person who is used to telling lies, a person who is used to laziness, a person who is used to all sorts of wrong things. Okay, how do you get that person to become Rajasic or Sattvic? We have to sandpaper him. That means imagine we have to go and remove all the old vasanas of his. Think about it. Can you do it? Can you do it? Nobody can do it. Today it is impossible, literally. So to remove tamas is extremely tough. Understand this. So from black to become white is the most impossible task, and for red also to become white is a very, very difficult task. Okay, and the sandpaper, where you get it. Okay, that is with your guru who is literally who removes literally all your acidic. He uses acid and he don't know what harpic and what not on top of you to remove all your old vasanas and tendencies. It's the toughest job, believe it or not. So now think about it. So black to red to white is a very, very impossible task. Now let us come to what happened to Sri Ram. It is when the divine takes the form. The divine is neither red nor black nor white. None of these three. It is colorless. Colorless. There is no color in it. Now suppose if I want to color it little bit, for the material world you have to color it or no. It's like on top of my eyes I already have certain lenses. On top of it I will have to put one color lens on top, isn't it? So it is like just putting one chashma on top of it. So what happens is the divine Lord, he comes and he colors himself up. It's an artificial color which is coming from outside. So inside he is completely transparent. He is the divine being. He is absolutely transparent. And only the external, for the external world, the color is appearing. You get it? So this is how the Lord behaves. So when Sri Ram comes, or Jesus Christ comes, or Buddha comes, he is going to make the world feel that he is incapable, or he doesn't know what to do things, and he is going to become completely helpless. Think about Jesus Christ carrying that heavy cross on his shoulder and dragging it, and he falls down. And you will wonder, oh my God, this is the Lord of the universe, and how can he fall down? Do you see this? This is all Maya. This is how he colors it up. The whole world is colored by him. So what he does is he colors your eyes. He himself is colorless. So do you understand? So now you will understand these lines very nicely. Let me read the lines again, then you will understand them. The Lord, whose pure form, that is Satchidananda Vigraha, is uncontaminated by the modes of material nature. I hope you understand this now better. Correct? Can be perceived by pure consciousness. Who can perceive him? Perception means who will be able to understand him. The one who can penetrate this entire three things, isn't it? The one who can penetrate the black, the red and the white. So you need to penetrate all these three, that is going beyond the three gunas to reach this state where it's absolutely colorless. It is not contaminated by anything. In the Vedanta, he is described as being one without a second because of his spiritual potency. He is untouched by the contamination of material nature, and because he is not subjected to material visions. Okay, now think about it. Whose material visions? The Divine Lord is not colored, he is colorless. You should have certain things on top of your eyes. Now think about it from this point of view. You have gone to watch a 3D movie. Now you don't wear those glasses and see the film. It's going to go out of focus only. Now you got to put those glasses on, you know, those, they are called Polaroid. That polarizing. Polarizing means there are two energies, one straight and one bent. Now it has to polarize. You have to get the thing crossed properly. Then only you can see that vision in front of you in 3 dimensions. So it is your eyes that needs to have that thing. Okay, it is not the Lord's eyes. The Lord is not contaminated. You are. So to see the invisible form of the Lord, you need to have that kind of Polaroid glasses. Okay, so now you understood what it means. He is not contaminated by. So he is not having that problem. Your material vision needs to be clarified. He is known as transcendental. Transcendental basically also means transparent. You know, you can see through like that. Transcendental, superior design. Okay, latest Ferrari maybe. So they were yesterday talking about this F1. You know, lot of noise like that all over the place. This whole place is like a madhouse. Okay, so Mauli was telling me that, you know, they have changed from V8 to V4 engine. I said, okay, good. Last time's engine they ate it up. That's why V8. We ate the engine. So this time it has become V4. Okay. So less noise. I couldn't understand for that. What do you mean by less noise? That thing is blasting, you know. You can't talk. You can't hear anything. It's going like that. I mean, we couldn't see. You have to pay $3,000 for that. We could only hear. If you're staying very far away, you could only hear. So like that. So this is how you have to see. So he has no material activities. Material activities means normally in a human being, you know, what are the material activities? Eat, drink, this, that, all the material activities. But the Divine Lord has no material activities to do. But remember, he is doing it for your sake. That means your eyes are contaminated. So when you look at the Lord, he seems like getting married. He's getting married to Sita. And he's doing all those kind of things, you know, what is necessary for a normal householder to do. So that is why. Nor has he a material form or name, only in pure consciousness. He's got only pure consciousness. Krishna consciousness. Can one perceive the transcendental form of the Lord? This line is a very beautiful line. Only when you reach the state of the divine can you see the material form. Actually, there is no material form of the Lord. So you are in the supreme divine consciousness state, then you can see the divine being in the same way. Let us be firmly fixed as the lotus feet of Lord Ramchandra. Let us offer our respectful obeisance unto the transcendental lotus feet. It is ordained that Ravana, chief of Rakshasas, could not be killed by anyone but a man. And for this reason, Lord Ramchandra, the Supreme Personality of Godhead, appeared in the form of the human being. Lord Ramchandra's mission, however, was not only to kill Ravana, but also to teach mortal beings the material happiness centered around sex life or centered around one's wife is the cause of many miseries. He is self-sufficient, Supreme Personality of Godhead, and nothing is lamentable for him. Therefore, why else would he be subjected to the tribulations of kidnapping of Mother Sita? Now, what was the reason for the birth of Sri Ram? Most important, you see all the reasons are given in this text. I don't need to tell you from somewhere outside. So, it is just to teach the mortals, you know, what does it mean? You know, those who are not married, they want to get married, they think that, you know, it's such a beautiful dream to have a very beautiful wife or a handsome husband and all that. But after reading this, I think they'll think twice. But I don't think that goes into a head of any person. So, so you will find that all these things happened to him. I don't need to read the verse again, you know it very well. Since Lord Sri Ramchandra is the Supreme Personality of Godhead Vasudev, He is not attached to anything in this material world. He is most beloved super soul of all the realized souls, and he is their very intimate friend. He is full of all opulences, and therefore he could not possibly have suffered because of separation from his wife. Nor could he have given up his wife and Lakshmana, his younger brother. To give up either would have been absolutely impossible. When the question about Sita going away to Ravana's place was coming up, at that point in time, there was a question asked to Narada. How can it be possible for Sita Devi to get kidnapped? I mean, it's a divine Lord. So at that point in time, it was mentioned, now this is there in Adhyatmik Ramayana, those who have read it will understand, that Sita's, a duplicate form of Sita was introduced in this whole thing, you know, what we call as Ramayana. And it would be like a shadow form, alright? And that shadow form was sent to Lanka. The real form was hidden at that point in time. It is mentioned in the Purana. Someday we will come across that story as well, and then we will do it. So, since Lord Sri Ramchandra is the Supreme Personality of Godhead Vasudev, he is not okay. So, now you understand now why he was. Nor could he have given up his wife and Lakshmana. These words are there. So I have given you one small glimpse of that. One cannot establish a friendship with the Supreme Lord Ramchandra on the basis of material qualities such as one's birth in an aristocratic family, one's personal beauty, one's eloquence, one's sharp intelligence, or one's superior race or nation. None of this qualification is actually a prerequisite for friendship with Lord Sri Ramchandra. Otherwise, how is it possible that although we uncivilized inhabitants of the forest have not taken noble births, although we have no physical beauty, and although we cannot speak like gentlemen, Lord Ramchandra had nevertheless accepted us as friends. This is a strange verse. How can you become friends with the divine? I was listening to some person in the afternoon today. So, he's a purely a material worldly gentleman. So when I asked him, when we were just talking, the person said, "Oh, I am also into spirituality." So I said, "Very good. Yes, you know, I want to tell you the story. Many years ago when I was doing my business, something happened and I did not have the money, and then I prayed to the Lord and the Lord helped me and get this particular thing." And he gave a lengthy story about how he was saved by the divine. And then he says, because of this, I am very much indebted to the divine. And then he said that everything happens in the world because of the divine. All these stories. Tell me, is there any person on this planet Earth who doesn't give these kind of stories? Every person gives their own things about, you know, miracles. In our world, the only way of recognizing the divine is through miracles. Isn't it? The Lord doing some miracles. He has given me so much of money now. Or he saved me, he saved my life. Or the divine Lord took me out of this troublesome experience. Or he gave my child back his life. Or he did this, or he did that. And oh my God, so many things we keep on saying, attributing it to the Lord. So what happens is, after this accomplishment has happened, suppose you are saying, I want a child, and you are not getting a child. And then what happens? You pray to the Lord and you get a child. Or you say you are in a financial trouble, and then you pray to the Lord and the Lord puts you out of trouble. Or then you say that I have got into some sort of a scrap. Lord, please take me out of the scrap, and the Lord takes you out of the scrap. Everything is then taking you close to the Lord, isn't it? Isn't that what a person thinks? Yes, now I have started becoming a firm believer of the Lord. There is no way of getting close to the Lord at all. You are actually getting close to the opulence of the Lord. You know, opulence means what? Opulence means His divine nature that is there. You are getting closer to the nature of that. And nature is something which Satchidananda doesn't have. The potency, actually you are getting close to the potency. Any person who gets money from God Understand, it is not from God at all. It is coming from his potency called the factor which is called money or finances. Who handles it? Lakshmi handles it. Okay? She is a demigod. If you are talking about education, oh, I prayed very hard for my results to come very nicely. I came first, and then this happened and that happened, and I was not getting admission in this college or something like that, and then I got admission. And then I started believing in God. I'm sorry, that's nothing, no God over there. You are believing in a deity. But deity in the Hinduism is called Saraswati. It's not the God. I'm sorry, it's not the divine Lord at all. You have got used to some drug, drug, marijuana, and you get the high. Oh, I got money, I got high. I got good education, I got high. Boss, with marijuana you can get only visions, okay? You can't get God. So it's the same thing. Any person who says that, oh, there are so many miracles happening in my world, is not going to take you close to God at all. On the contrary, it's taking you away from God. Because finally, you have to pay for that marijuana dealer. Lakshmi Devi and Saraswati and all these are dealers. They are drug dealers basically. You have to pay them. So all the gods and goddesses, they are nothing but demigods. They are nothing but demigods. And you are not anywhere closer to the divine, which is called Sri Krishna, or which is called Supreme Divine Consciousness. So let us see this line once again. I hope you understand this line. One cannot establish friendship with Lord Sri Ramchandra. Ramchandra means Supreme Divine Consciousness. Don't go by the name Ramchandra and all that. Okay? Supreme Divine Consciousness on the basis of material qualities such as one's birth. I was born a Brahmin. Oh my God. So you're born a Brahmin. So you become closer to God. Sorry. You are the biggest. You have to be standing in the longest queue over there. Last. And when you come close to the window, the window will close. No ticket for you. So by birth, suppose you say, I come from this Yaduvansh. Oh my God, nothing is going to. People when they go, I still remember one person. He came to me and how he introduced. He said, you know what, I'm not from Mumbai, but you know what? The great Don of Mumbai, I am a nephew of his. Oh my God, I should be scared of that. So it's like that. I am president's son, I am prime minister's this one, and some relative of mine or something like that. So of no use. The more these type of connections that you try to use, with the Supreme Divine Consciousness, I am the great distant great grandsons, so and so's of Sri Ramchandra. I'm sorry, boss, you are not allowed in the temple. Get out. So you cannot call it, whereas your birth is concerned. In an abstract, one's personal beauty. My child, every person, I'm not joking about this. Some black child is there and they look at that black child, hey, Krishna के जैसा दिखता है. अल्लाह कर लो बात. और कृष्णा के जैसा किधर से दिखेगा? थोड़ा उसको व्हाइट कलर और लगाना पड़ेगा, नहीं तो ब्लू कलर लगाना पड़ेगा, तो फिर दिखेगा कृष्णा का जैसा. बस कलर से अगर कृष्णा बनने वाला है तो फिर वो हो गया कल्याण. Doesn't happen. So personal beauty illa. People say, na, she looks like Lakshmi Devi or something like that. What Lakshmi Devi? Character dekho pehla. So once eloquence, people they go and talk in the temples. They give all these bhajans and kirtans, and somebody died yesterday. I don't know. The whole Facebook was filled with the name. I don't know those persons, but I believe that somebody, I don't know. Somebody who can sing very nicely God's song all life long. Yeah. And somebody who can recite poetry or something. Boss, that doesn't qualify you to closer to Ramchandra, okay? No way. You're out of that game totally. One's sharp intelligence or one's superior race or nation. I come from Bharatvarsha, so I am closer to Ramchandra. I am coming from Pakistan, I am not closer. No, you cannot say that just because you are close. How much we say. It's like you stay in, let us say for example, somebody is staying in Hollywood. Oh, you have seen this fellow, you have seen that fellow. As if somebody from Mumbai will, oh, you must be knowing Amitabh Bachchan, huh? You must be knowing Shah Rukh Khan. Sir, Bombay city is a big city. Where I will come to know Amitabh Bachchan and Shah Rukh Khan? Don't know, sir. Every individual has this great, understanding. It's like when we went to the furthest part of the world, one day, the girl in a chemist shop is asking whether Shah Rukh Khan, Shah Rukh Khan. Boss, Shah Rukh Khan. How are we to know Shah Rukh Khan? He's a great boss over there, film industry. We don't know. So like that. So even if you take this kind of, closeness to nations and all that also, none of this qualification is actually a prerequisite for friendship with Lord Ramchandra. So understand this. Don't you come up with anything which says, I am closer to him because there was some miracle happened in my family. On the contrary, you are out of the game. Okay? Otherwise, how is it possible that although we are uncivilized inhabitants of the forest, have not taken noble birth? Who is saying these words? Hanumanji is saying these words. Hanumanji is very clever. You know what he says? He is a monkey, and yet he is closest to Ram. So if you want to become closer to Ram, then you also become a monkey, then maybe you will become closer. If that is the kind of qualification that you are thinking, it is not done thing. It is not a done thing. Oh, I come from the monkey race. What? Who said that? Charles Darwin said. So I should be closer to Ramchandra, isn't it? Doesn't happen like that. So the prerequisite for friendship with Lord Ramchandra is nothing like that. So no physical beauty, no noble birth, nothing, and we cannot speak like a gentleman. Lord Ramchandra has nevertheless accepted us as friends. There is only one way of doing it, That is by love and devotion, no other way. Therefore, when one is a demigod or a demon, a man or a creature other than man, such as a beast or a bird, everyone should worship Lord Ramchandra, the Supreme Personality of Godhead, who appears on this earth just like a human being. There is no need of great austerities or penances to worship the Lord, for he accepts even a small service offered by his devotee. So you may not have any of these qualifications. Understand this. You are not close to him because by race. You are not a Brahmin. You are not qualified. You don't know Vedas, Shastras. You don't know anything. You don't know to play mandolin also. You don't know to go and sing also. Nothing. You don't know anything. And yet, when you go and meet the Divine Lord, with your entire heart and being, with love and devotion, and you offer him just one small flower or one leaf, he will accept it. It has to be done with unconditional love. No qualification, I belong to this special category. So those people who pay money to go into the queue, they are the first people thrown out. Understand? So anybody who goes to the temple and pays big amount of money, no qualification, that is the first person to be thrown out of the line. No Ramchandra over there for you. Yeah, you go and stand over there and Ramchandra says, you come inside please. You are qualified. You understand what I mean? There is no need to pay money, boss. There is no need to give maskabaji over there. Stand over there. The Lord will himself call you. He will himself say to you, come to my temple. Come meet me. I am happy to meet you. On the contrary, I am coming to meet you. I want you to come to meet me over there. This is how it should be. Alright? There is no need for great austerities or penance to worship the Lord, for he accepts even a small service offered by his devotee. Thus he is satisfied, and as soon as he is satisfied, the devotee is successful. Indeed, Lord Ramchandra brought all the devotees of Ayodhya back to Vaikuntha. Sukadeva Goswami continued, the glories of the Supreme Lord are inconceivable. He has appeared in the form of Narayan in the land of Bharatvarsh at the place known as Badrika Ashram, to favor his devotees by teaching them religion, knowledge, renunciation, spiritual power, sense control, freedom from false ego. Badrika Ashram. So, what has he done? He has taken a form. What is the form? The form of a guru. The Divine Lord takes the form of a guru. And he comes and then, see, understand this. If I have not gone to New York City, how can I describe it to you? Yes, I can watch YouTube and all those things. Oh, Times Square. But at Times Square, how is it? Square or round or circle or what? Don't know, sir. I have not been there. So forget it. There is nothing called a Times Square. You have seen it in video. But if you have actually gone over there, then you know what Times Square looks like. Isn't it? So it's only when you have seen the divine can you tell about the divine. I shall answer you once I finish this. Okay. So do you understand this? Only the one who is there can tell you about himself more than he can tell you about anybody else. That is why when Ramakrishna Paramahansa, he was asked this question, I want to speak to the Mali, that is a gardener, so that how to know how big, how rich your boss is. Why you want to go and ask the gardener? Why not ask the boss straight away? Only the boss can tell you, no, about himself or no. How can the gardener tell you how rich the boss is? No way. So if you want to know how rich is, say, Bill Gates or somebody like that, if you have direct contact with Bill Gates, you will get the correct figure. But if you go and read Fortune magazine and all these magazines, you are going to get concocted figures. They are based on wrong information. They are based on information which is analytical in nature. It is not the truth. And you really think, from which point of view is Mr. Bill Gates, or for that matter Warren Buffett, going to tell you how much money he has? So no way. So no point in asking. You have to make friendship with him. It's only when he wants to come and tell you, I have so much of money, that you will know the truth. Otherwise you won't know the truth. So only Bill Gates himself has to say the words. Some company doing analysis of his books of accounts and all that is not going to tell you. Alright. That is the reason why he comes from Badrika Ashram. He is advanced in the opulence of spiritual assets and he engages in executing austerity until the end of the millennium. This is a process of self-realization. In his own book known as Narada Panchartra, Bhagavan Narada has vividly described how to work to achieve the ultimate goal of life, devotion, through knowledge and through execution of the mystic yoga system. Narad Bhakti Sutra, very important text for knowing what is the meaning of the word devotion. We have done it, but we're just doing it over here to understand. He also has described the glories of the Lord. Who has described? Narada has described the glories of the Lord. The Supreme Personality of Godhead, the great sage Narada, instructed the tenets of the transcendental literature to Savarani Manu in order to teach these inhabitants of the Bharatvarsh who strictly followed the principles of Varnashram Dharma and how to achieve the devotional service of the Lord. Thus Narad Muni, along with other inhabitants of Bharatvarsh, always engaged in the service of Nar Narayan, and he chants as follows. Let me offer my respectful obeisance unto Nar Narayan. You know who is talking about this? Narad Muni. You know what word he says? I'm sure you know those who keep on seeing the movies will tell you Narayana Narayana. Vaisa karke bolta hai. I still remember old Jeevan used to say those words. You know Jeevan? I don't know whether you know heard of this. Narayana Narayana. He used to keep on saying. So those words have become very famous. So he is that particular form who keeps on taking the name of the Divine Lord always. So the best of all saintly persons, the Supreme Personality of Godhead, he is the most self-controlled and self-realized. He is free from false prestige and he is the asset of a person who has no material possessions. He is the spiritual master of all the Paramahansas, who are the most exalted human beings, and he is the master of the self-realized. Let me offer my respected obeisance unto his lotus feet. Narada, the most powerful saintly sage, also worships Nar Narayan by chanting the following mantras. Now what does he do? Narayan. How does he say these words to Narayan? So we will learn that. The Supreme Personality of Godhead is the master of the creation, maintenance and annihilation of the visible cosmic manifestation. Yet he is completely free from false prestige. Although to the foolish he appears to have accepted material body like us, he is unaffected by bodily tribulations like hunger, thirst and fatigue. Although he is a witness who sees everything, his senses are unpolluted by the object he sees. Let me offer my respectful obeisance unto that unattached pure witness of the world, the Supreme Soul, the Personality of Godhead. Now these are the things which describes the divine. O my Lord, master of all the mystic yogas, there is an explanation of the yogic process spoken only by Lord Brahma, who is self-realized. At the time of death, all yogis give up their material body with full detachment simply by placing their minds at your lotus feet. This is the perfection of yoga. That means when you place the entire thing, mind, body, soul, at the feet of the divine. Materialists are generally very attached to the present bodily comforts and to the bodily comforts they expect in the future. Therefore, they are always absorbed in thought of their wives, children, and wealth, and are afraid of giving up their bodies, which are full of stool and urine. If a person engaged in Krishna consciousness, however, is also afraid of giving up his body, what is the use of having labored to study the Shastras? It is simply a waste of time. Therefore, O Lord, O Transcendence, kindly help us, give us the power to execute Bhakti Yoga, so that we can control our restless minds and fix them upon you. We are all infected by your illusory energy. Therefore, we are attached to the body, which is full of stool and urine, and to anything related with this body, except for devotional service, there is no way to give up this attachment. Therefore, kindly bestow upon us this benediction. In the tract of land known as Bharatvarsha, now we are continuing with the story of island of Jambudvipa. Okay? Is an Ilavata Varsha. There are many mountains and rivers. Some of the mountains are known as Malaya, Mangala Prastha, Mainika, Trikuta, Rashaba, Kutaka, Kolaka, Sahya, Devagiri, Rashyam Yuka, Sri Saila, Venkata Mahindra, Varidhara, Vindhya, Suktiman, Rakshagiri, Pariyatra, Drona, Chitrakoot, Govardhan, Raivataka, Kakuba, Nila, Gomukha, Indrakila, Kamagiri. Besides these, there are many other hills with many large and small rivers flowing from their slopes. Two of the rivers, the Brahmaputra and the Sona, are the Nadas or the main river. There are other rivers which are very, very prominent. That is Chandravasa, Tamrapani, Avtoda, Kritamala, Vahasi, Kaveri, Veni, Payasvini, Shakaravarta, Tungabhadra, Krishnavenya, Bhimarathi, Godavari, Nirvindhya, Vayosni, Tapi, Reva, Surasha, Narmada, Karmanvati, Mahanadi, Vedasmriti, Rishikulya, Trisama, Kaushiki, Mandakini, Yamuna, Saraswati, Jasavdvati, Gomati, Sharayu, Radoswati, Saptavati, Susoma, Satadru, Chandrabhaga, Marudhwaja, Vitasta, Asikni, and Vishwa. The inhabitants of Bharatvarsha are purified because they always remember these rivers. Sometimes they chant the names of these rivers as mantras, and sometimes they go directly to the rivers to touch them and bathe in them. Thus the inhabitants of Bharatvarsha become pure. The people who take birth in the tract of land are divided according to the qualities of the material nature. The modes of Sattva, Rajas, and Tamas. Some of them are born as exalted personalities, some are ordinary human beings, and some are extremely abominable, for in their Bharatvarsha, one takes birth exactly according to one's past karma. So this we have been always discussing, as per the past karma, we are going to get the body. If one's position is ascertained by the bona fide spiritual master, and one is properly engaged in the service of the Lord Vishnu, according to four social divisions, that is Brahmana, Kshatriya, Vaishyas, and Shudras, and the four spiritual divisions, as Brahmacharya, Grahastha, Vanaprastha, and Sannyasa, one's life becomes perfect. So, under the guidance of the spiritual master, perfection can come about. After many births, many births, when results of one's pious activities nature, one gets an opportunity to associate with a pure devotee. Pure devotee means the Guru. The one is able to cut the knot of bondage to ignorance which bounds him because of the varied fruitive activities. As a result of associating with devotees, one gradually renders service to Divine Lord Vasudeva, who is transcendental, free from attachment to the material world, before the mind and the word, and the independent of everything else. The Bhakti Yoga, devotional service to the Lord Vasudeva, is the real path of liberation. Since the human form of life is the sublime position for spiritual realization, all the demigods in heaven speak in this way. How wonderful is it for these human beings to have been born in the land of Bharatvarsha? They must have executed pious acts of austerity in the past, or the Supreme Personality of God Himself must have been pleased with them. Otherwise, how could they engage in devotional service in so many ways? We demigods can only aspire to achieve human birth in Bharatvarsha to execute devotional service, but these human beings are already engaged there. Doesn't it give you a deja vu? The same verse has appeared so many times. If you do not have human birth, there is no way in which you can reach the state of the divine. Self-realization can never happen to you if you are in any other form. You may be a demigod, you will not get self-realization. You have to become a human being. So human being, the birth of a human being is very, very important. For you it is very, very important because this is the birth which will take you towards the divine. The demigods continued. After performing the various difficult tasks of executing Vedic ritualistic sacrifices, undergoing austerities, observing vows and giving charity, they have achieved this position as inhabitants of the heavenly planets. But what is the value of this achievement? Here we are certainly very engaged in the material sense gratification, and therefore we can hardly remember the lotus feet of the Lord Narayana. Indeed, because of our excessive sense gratification, we have almost forgotten his lotus feet. A short life in the land of Bharatvarsh is preferable to a life achieved in Brahmaloka for millions and billions of years, because even if one is elevated to Brahmaloka, he must return to repeat birth and death. Isn't this what I said just now? It says that please, even if you are born as Brahmaji himself or whatever, you have to take a human birth to reach the state of realization or to reach the supreme divine consciousness. There is no other way out. Although life in Bharatvarsh is the lower planetary system, is very short, one who lives there can elevate himself to full Krishna consciousness and achieve the highest perfection even in a short life by fully surrendering unto the lotus feet of the Lord. Thus one attains Vaikuntha Lok, where there is neither anxiety nor repeated birth in a material body. An intelligent person does not take interest in a place even in the topmost planetary system. If the pure Ganga of topic concerning the Lord Supreme activity does not flow there, if there are no devotees engaged in service to the bank of such a river of the piety, for if there are no festivals of Sankirtan Yajna to satisfy the Lord, that is, when you have Satsang, Satsang is this Yajna, the Yajna of performing this Satsanga. When you are in the presence of the divine, when this kind of activity is happening. You are sitting for a Satsang, isn't it? That is the very, very important activity. Bharatvarsha offers the proper land and circumstances in which to execute devotional service, which can free one from the results of jnana and karma. If one obtains a human body in the land of Bharatvarsha with clear sensory organs with which to execute the Sankirtana Yajna, but in spite of the opportunity it does not take to devotional service, he certainly like liberated forest animal and bird that are careless and are therefore again bound by the hunter. In India, there are many worshippers of the demigods, the various officials appointed by the Supreme Lord, such as Indra, Chandra and Surya, all of whom are worshipped differently. The worshippers offer the demigod their oblation, considering the demigods part and parcel of the whole, the Supreme Lord. Therefore, the Supreme Lord, personality of Godhead, accepts this offering and gradually raises the worshipper to the real standard of devotional service by fulfilling their desires and aspirations. Because the Lord is complete, he offers the worshippers the benediction they desire, even if they worship only part of his transcendental body. The Supreme Personality of Godhead fulfills the material desires of a devotee who approaches him with such motives, but he does not bestow benediction upon the devotee that will cause him to demand more benediction again. So, anybody who is interested in going and asking, demanding, boss, give me this, then going for the next round, oh sir, give me this, and then going for the next round, give me this. What do you say? First you want what? First you want good birth, after that you want good education, after that you want good rank, after that you want good job, after that you want good money, after that you want good position, then you want a good husband or wife, then you want good children. Every now and then your list is growing, isn't it? You keep on going to the temple and asking the Lord, or you forget the temple, you may be standing in your own house and asking him, boss, I need this demand, this is my list of demands. For now, this is the demand. It's like, we are a planning commission, we have to do 5-year plan, 10-year plan, we have those kind of plans in our life. So, when you go with a plan, okay, this year I want this many things. Next year I'll come to you once again. People keep on, I don't know how many of you know, but people go very regularly to visit these kind of places. Like this, Tirupati. They will go every year with one big demand. And there are some idiots who visit Siddhivinayak temple and all. Okay, every year they'll go. I go walking, 10 kilometers, 12 kilometers. Okay, fine, good for you. I don't care whether you go rolling over there. So what you are going and giving maskabaji to that Vinayaka over there and telling him what, boss, I want good picture, I want this, I want that. You are getting further into the ditch. Did you understand this verse? Understand this verse very carefully. And these people who go to visit all these temples with their demand list every year, changing the demands, They need to read these kind of things, or maybe somebody has to explain to them. Poor fellows don't know. So they will cause him to demand more benediction again. So he goes again and again to ask for benediction. However, the Lord willingly gives the devotee shelter at his own lotus feet, even though such a person does not aspire for it. You don't have to aspire for it. Don't go and ask. Don't say, I want to become the greatest devotee of yours. Boss, you have gone and asked him something. Why? Don't bother. Don't ask. Why are you not sure about it? Why can you not say, I am the best. I love my Lord the best, I don't need to go and ask anybody in this world for anything. I know my devotion is the highest. I don't need to go and ask the God for highest devotion, okay? I don't need to ask him, next time when I come, you give me $1,000 so that I can give you 999 worth of this thing. Boss, it's demand, supply. What he is doing, you are going and doing some dealings or with him over. He is not a person, a trader or something. He is not that. So, even such a person does not aspire for it, and that shelter satisfies all his desires. That the Supreme Personality is special mercy. We are now living in the heavenly planet, undoubted, as a result of our having performed ritualistic ceremonies. Who is talking? Narada is telling, we are living in Bharatvarsha. Okay? Pious activities and yagyas, having studied the Vedas, however, our lives here will one day be finished. We pray that at that time, if any merit remains from our pious activities, we may again take birth in Bharatvarsha as a human beings again to remember the lotus feet of the Lord. The Lord is so kind that he personally comes to the land of Bharatvarsha and expands the good fortune of all its people. Everywhere they say, India is a spiritual nation. It's mentioned also over here that India is definitely a spiritual nation. So in this life also, even if you die, and if you have not completed the task of reaching the state of self-realization, just ask the last one thing you can ask the Lord, isn't it? I want to be born again on this planet Earth, in this Bharatvarsha, and with a human birth. Sukdev Goswami said, my dear king, in the opinion of such learned scholars, 8 smaller islands surround the Jambudvipa. When the son of Maharaj Sagara was searching all over the world for their lost horse, they dug up the earth, and in this way 8 joining islands came into existence. The names of these islands are Swarnaprastha, Chandrashukta, Avartana, Ramanaka. Ramanaka is an island. I don't know whether you know about it. 4,800 islands are there in Ramanaka. Indonesia. So next time you will remember. Okay. Mandara Hirnya, Panchajanya, Simhala, and Lanka. Lanka everybody knows. Alright. So, my dear King Parikshit, the best of the descendants of Bharat Maharaj have thus described to you, and I myself have been instructed the island of Bharatvarsha and its adjoining islands, that are the islands that consist the Jambudvipa. This ends the chapter 19, Canto 5 of Srimad Bhagavatam. We will stop over here and I shall take up the question.